Today I'm going to talk about nationalism versus globalism. And it's a very touchy subject, especially because of the recent presidential election and Donald Trump basically dragging the word nationalism through the dirt. There are many different forms of nationalism, of course. There's civic nationalism, which is basically liberal nationalism. There's totalitarian nationalism, which is extinct except for in Korea, which is obviously total control over one country. Now, I'd like to throw out a couple disclaimers about myself and my points of view. One being my 12-year-old son is a child of a immigrant from Poland, a legal immigrant, his last name being Ostrowski, and my daughter being a child from an illegal immigrant from San Luis Potosi, Mexico, her last name being Perea. So my views on this are totally not racist, but for the love of my country, I am a nationalist. Let's see, sorry. The nationalists viewed globalists as basically unwilling to accept limitation, outside limitation, or outside control, I guess you might say. And globalists view nationalists as being desperately parochial, right? So basically closed-minded, narrow-minded, not willing to look at the outside world as a whole. David Brooks, a writer for the New York Times, says America, unlike most other nations, was founded as a universalist nation, being, we are founded on bringing other people here. We're all basically immigrants of this country unless you're Native American. He goes on to say the way out of this debate is not to go nationalist or globalist. It's a return to American nationalism, which combines an exclusive definition of who is our own with a fervent commitment to assimilate and take care of them, right? So basically his nationalism is not that anybody is worse than us, right? But the people that are here, our government has the responsibility to take care of us first. Nationalism defines relation between the state, the citizen, and the outside world, right? It's not necessarily our responsibility to be a globalist whole, but it's our government's responsibility to make us a globalist whole, right? And Larry Summers, a Harvard economics professor since 1983, says a new approach has to start from the idea that the basic responsibility of the government is to maximize the welfare of its citizens, not to pursue the abstract, concept of global goods, an approach where it is understood that countries are expected to pursue their citizens' economic welfare as a primary objective, but where the ability to harm the interests of citizens elsewhere is limited and restricted, right? So it's not necessarily that, nationalists want to, kill the rest of the world off and just keep their own country. It's just, like I said, looking out for your own instead of, before we look out for others. Jonathan Haidt, a social psychologist and professor of ethical leadership of New York University Stern School of Business, says in his article of Ethics and Globalism, Nationalism and Patriotism, that diversity is difficult and often divisive. It's not shades of skin color that divide, it's the perception that people in other groups have different values and behave in ways that violate our moral worldview. So in essence, globalist, if we become a globalist country, we don't have rights. We'll be under a cabal, a cabal of superiors, which basically is a one government controlling everything that we do, which leads to either no jobs, less jobs, or very poverty level paying jobs for us as Americans and other countries. Faye Walshall, a writer for the American Thinker, wrote an article about the religious point of view of nationalism and globalism, and her definition, or her opinion, that the new globalist world order would make slaves of us all, only to serve of that cabal of superiors that I was talking about. Now, for example, you know, who goes home at night and locks their door? Everybody? Right. So it's not because you hate us, right? It's not because you think that we're terrible people. It's because you love your family and want to protect them. And that's basically what my opinion of nationalism is, right? And Jonathan Haidt also says that some nationalists do believe that their country is the best, and some nationalists are plainly illiberal and overly racist. This is true. But as many defenders of patriotism have pointed out, you love your spouse because he or she is your spouse, not because you think they are better than all others, right? So that's basically, the same aspect of the responsibility of our government, is to make sure that we're okay without doing without doing the most harm to other countries. And that's all I've got.